Hey everyone, and welcome to Mystic Personas. I'm Dr. Travis Fox. And with over 30 years of experience as an NLP master trainer and holding doctorates in both psychology and clinical hypnotherapy, I've literally helped thousands of people go through their transformative process. Now, throughout that time, one of the things I've discovered and come to realize is that most traditional methods fall short in identifying those subconscious behaviors, those self-limiting beliefs, those trauma responses that generally shape our day-to-day lives. And that is what led me to creating the Mystic Persona system. You see, mind can't solve itself. You have to start with what I call the Heartset. Now, I know that sounds all woo-woo, but it's not really. You see, you have to feel what's going on first before you can align your mind and change, and that's when healing really begins. And that's what really led to the Mystic Persona system. You see, it's not just another self-development tool. It's an actual comprehensive profiling tool that's designed to help you recognize your own personas and, of course, those people around you. It's straightforward, it's intuitive, and most importantly, it's effective. So why wait? Let's dive right in, do the reading right now. We're gonna see what the personas hold for your week ahead and how you can integrate them, make more peace with them, and most importantly, reclaim your power from within. And make sure you do me one favor before we begin. Like, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell so that we can go week to week together on your personalized, energized Mystic Persona reading. All right, let's dive right in. Let's see what we have for this week. Welcome as always. Thanks for being here. This is exciting. Remember, this is the core we start with and every time on our center line, which is really our core personas. And then from there, you get to weave and create throughout the week through your shadow codex and your oracle realm. Your choice, your adventure starts with really awareness, as you undoubtedly know. Let's begin. Let's dive right in. Here we go. Ooh, the omniscient seer. The Empyrean. Wow. And the shadow bender. Whew. We're getting right into it. All right, let's go. Omniscient. They're the master strategists, as you know, with literally the comprehensive guide. They can see everything. They're omnipotent, right? They see everything from, you can see the light behind her. You can see the people listening and guiding her. She's looking down. Behind here, you can see she's looking down the map of all of these things, which of course is illuminated. And you can see the structure of the architecture here along with the guiding light looking up and reflecting into her face. It really tells you that they're the beautiful strategy. You know, the omniscient, there we go. The omniscient seer combines expertise with, of course, far-reaching perspective. What does far-reaching mean? 6, 7, 8, 9 steps down the road. But the key to this, when we really drop into our seer and we know that we know, is to master our humility and foster collaboration. I don't know about you, but oftentimes when I drop into my omniscient seer and I can see that far, I can see 5 or 6 steps down the road of what we need to do, I can get locked into that rigidity. How about you? And when we do, then we don't have any kind of collaboration, and we don't have any, I know this is the way we got to do it. We got to do this, and this. Those are sounds that your omniscient seer is, well, kind of moving out of balance and potentially moving into a different persona, but maybe even to the shadow codex. Again, nothing wrong with that. There's no right or wrong here. There's simply choice and adventure, which leads us to the Empyrean. Man, talk about beautiful. The inspirational idealist, right? Visionary uplifter. The Empyrean inspires the lofty ideals and dreams, but they've got to balance ourselves with practical to create the tangible results. The Empyrean to me is when I drop into my Empyrean, I just can absolutely, the world is beautiful. Why can't we all just see this experience? Life is terminal. We only have so much time. All of this nonsense and the things that we deal with and dramas and experiences and politics and lawsuits and all of these things that we all know are nonsense during our time here. That's where the Empyrean comes in. But often we can get lost in those dreams and we just really kind of just keep dreaming. We don't get anything done. And so the balance of the Empyrean is to remember that you have the vision, but we also have to move into action. Because again, what you've noticed here already is the theme, perhaps, Seeker, is you got a seer who can see the architecture. You can see the idealism, the inspiration of it. You can put these things together. There's 2 visionary cards, visionary themes. These both have the visionary theme in their lineage. And let's bring us in the shadow bender. So we're starting to see that we have visionary in there, a lot of light. And of course, The shadow bender is the master of subtle influence, transformative visionary. Well, that's 3 times in a row. There's a pattern. The shadow bender shapes outcomes with finesse. You can see how this is all orchestrated. As you know, the shadow bender is moving this from the shadows, looking towards light, moving the things that you need to move to the direction that you want to. And you can see the people here in the foreground being hypnotized, if you will, looking into this light, looking into this creation. And the reason why the shadow bender is so powerful is because they shape really the outcomes with finesse, but they do it sometimes, and this is when we get out of balance, they balance the subtlety with transparency to inspire trust. So I'm just creating. So here we go again, right? If you look at the theme here, 3 visionary, powerful core personas. Beautiful Empyrean, the omniscient seer, and of course the shadow bender, where we're taking all of the light and the dark and we're using them together to create this beautiful vision and experience. But we've got to make sure we're doing full transparency, because remember, she's a she here, not represented by gender, male or female, however it represents you, doesn't matter. But is using the shadows behind her to create. That's why it's a shadow bender. She's using that energy of her shadow to create in this beautiful orchestration of light and bringing all these other people into the stars. And again, same concept. If you notice the circle here, you can't quite see the circle that is behind the omniscient seer, but there's a circle. So I'm seeing movement here this week, this energetic, the flow, and this beautiful visionary that you have. Ask yourself this question. What's the vision that's really haunting you that you're not taking part of? What's the part of you that's not getting these tangible results? What part of you doesn't trust yourself that these 3 parts of you is saying, hey, seeker, this week, it's time for us to be really seeing the deep, big architecture, the deep picture, really what our hearts desire is this beautiful vision, this idealism of how the world should and could be if you would step into tangible results and use that beautiful, subtle influence to create from using the part of your trauma or your triggers or those self-limiting beliefs and bring them in from the shadow codex and subtly use the transparency to inspire trust. Man, that's a powerful way to start this week, don't you think? Great question to ask yourself. If you have the time, love to see you put a comment in there about what is the grand vision for the week for you. Did you notice it as the week started, or did it reveal itself towards the week's end? Another question. Comment. Did it start at the beginning of the week, the end of the week? When did it reveal itself for you? Or maybe it was the middle. Whatever's right, comment below. Let's drop into the shadow box here. Let's pull out the shadow codex and see what we may get the opportunity to integrate this week on. Whew. This one's really inspiring to me this week. I don't know about you, Seeker, but I love these personas showing up this way, because it really invites even myself to look at what is the grand vision that we're doing here? What is what is the ideal world? What is the trauma being brought into this beautiful light? What are the triggers? What is the self-limiting belief structures, and balancing with this beautiful transparency? That to me is Shadowbender, as you can tell, is one of my favorite cores, because truly you're taking all of that stuff from your shadow and you're bending it, hence the name Shadowbender. You're bending into this beautiful orchestration, this beautiful influence, this transformation. Man, we could use transformation right now, both in ourselves and in the world, couldn't we? Don't you agree? All right, here we go. Here is our shadows for the week. The Mirage. Oh, the Havoc Bringer. And the Veilbinder. Wow, the Veilbinder shows up again. I think the Veilbinder's been showing up a lot. The Mirage. The Mirage is a very, very powerful shadow codex for us. And I know it in the card, the way it represents visually, doesn't always represent, she doesn't look like she's super powerful, but that's part of the art of it, right? Is she looks like she's dainty and soft, and maybe, making this alchemy fire in front of you that looks wow, and is really distracting you see, because the Mirage creates illusions to gain approval, establishing truths to fit the narrative. How often have we done that, Seeker? We've actually crafted our absolute story and embellishing these truths to fit the narrative, right? Because that's what feels good. Doesn't mean that's exactly what's aligned necessarily. Could be your choice, but it generally doesn't. right? We prioritize perception over authenticity and often leaving others feeling misled or disconnected. This is a great one. This isn't the imposter persona, but it would be akin to it. We create the illusion of self. Oh man, I did this, I made that, and did this, and I met so-and-so, and I'm this, and I'm that. And those are all these beautiful images. I know starting my early career, image was very important to me. It was, I got to keep up with the Joneses. I had to drive the right car. I had to have the right answers. I had to have the right clothes. And it was this constant chasing, but what? I never could quite figure out what I was chasing, obviously till later. And what would happen is I'd meet thousands and thousands of people, but I didn't really meet them. So how often do we create the illusion, especially, I see it a lot, maybe you do too, comment below for me. I see it a lot at networking events. I see a lot of mirages there, people embellishing those stories to fit the story because it sounds really amazing, whether it's an investment strategy or they're just trying to create more influence in the room or just to often be liked, because that's really what it's about, isn't it? We're trying to create this illusion that we are something more than we're not because we're not good enough. Common theme right here to look at, seeker. I'll let that one sit. That leads us to the beautiful ideal world, which is where the mirage starts us to say, hey, you're right, Empyrean. This is a beautiful ideal world. I love it this way, but let's make it a little bit more, because just being as it is not enough. We've got to embellish it. We've got to make it bigger so it fits this big story. Do you? Okay. Because that also can lead, as the week progresses, leads us really to the Havoc Bringer. Now, the Havoc Bringer really thrives on chaos and disruption, really just using unpredictability to unsettle others. This results, they resist stability, creating turmoil, and that's a means of maintaining their influence. Now, if you really look at the Havoc Bringer brings literally nothing but chaos and disruption for disruption's sake. Why? Because that's the get off. That's the part of us that gets off of going, I got you, or I disrupted that, or I threw a wrench in the system. I forgot the saying right there. What is a monkey wrench? There's the word I'm looking for. We threw that in there because that's the get off. That's the dopamine hit. That's the feel good to make us feel better, because our ideal world may not be working out, and my vision is not being adhered to exactly the way I see it getting done. And my Havoc Bringer shows up, and I'm not using the Shadow Bender and the Havoc Bringer together to create chaos into this beautiful orchestration over here, this influence, this transformation. I'm just bringing havoc because, well, sometimes that's all I've got, and that's what I'm going to hold on to. And so I'm going to stake my truth in that. Nothing wrong with that. Just be aware that the Havoc Bringer really just creates destruction and drama and chaos, because that is the whole thing about maintaining their influence. And I say there as though it's separate. It's not. It's us, it's you, it's me, it's everybody on the planet. All of us have a Havoc Bringer, and they bring havoc just to bring it. We do it all the time. We do it in relationships. We do it in self-sabotage. We do it in limiting beliefs that we haven't brought forward, because those things are, well, not fully integrated yet from our Shadow Codex. This is a really great invitation to look at that opportunity, both internally and externally, as you know, dual path dynamics of where this week is headed. And of course, now that brings us to the Veil Binder. And one of the things I love about the Veil Binder is a lot of people actually email. I had a private coaching client say, man, I really love the eyes of the Veil Binder, how they're glowing. And I kind of chuckled and said, that's not the Veil Binder's eyes, right? Their eyes are up here. This is the distraction of the Veil Binder. That's what the Veil Binder does so well, is look, and because again, the Veil Binder uses charm, as you undoubtedly know, right? The charm and the mystery. So you see the charm of, oh, look at the light. These are great. Those are beautiful eyes. They kind of got my attention. They're mysterious, but their eyes are up here, because that distraction is exactly what our Veil Binder does internally as our internal persona, both internally and externally. And so often we'll manipulate really for our own personal gain by saying, hey, look at this shiny object, look at this, right? And the Veil Binder part of us, that our persona really thrives on the complexity, right? And now if you look at these two are wonderfully akin. I mean, this is a powerful Shadow Codex week, Seeker. I'm going to really kind of highlight this out. And not because I'm trying to create grandiosos of it, but I really want us to look at this, or at least I'm feeling invited to ask you to look at it. We're creating mirages that bring a bunch of havoc because we're not really going to tell anybody what's going on, but we want to get our own agenda. We don't want to have any connections. We want to distract it. We're going to thrive on complexity and chaos because deep down inside, we still want the attention that we're not getting. And so I'm going to create havoc in your world, and I'm going to make you think that it's somebody else doing it. It's not me. Those are all perfect examples of when we drop into this beautiful trio, and it is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. There's beautiful power in the Shadow Codex line coming in for this week. But if we really look at what the core is asking us to see an ideal world and transform our shadows into this beautiful orchestration that the Empyrean part of us, the ideal part of us is looking for by transforming, saying, hey, I'm working through wanting to really be accepting of myself, accepting of others, being accepted regardless of how I just from the truth as is, where is. I don't need to bring it any bigger than that. I don't need to create the magical distraction of illusion to make it bigger than it is. Otherwise, my other parts are going to come up and potentially show where I'm going to bring havoc. I'm going to destroy it. Or where do people, and this goes the other way. What if we go the other way? Because dual path is internal and external, right? They're both happening simultaneously and concurrently. What if a havoc bringer comes in to disrupt your ideal world? How do you choose to handle that? Are you going to come from the omniseer? Are you going to bring your shadow bender in and bring that transformative shadow and bend the shadow into this beautiful other creation, and using maybe perhaps the veil binder to do that, because the veil binder has charm and allure. Now, if you look at these two, both of these have the light out in front of them, and they're asking you to look at it. Right? They're asking you to stare at it. It's part of the illusion. It's part of the distraction. It's part of the charm. Again, as I said from the very beginning, when you look at the mirage, she looks weak. She looks like she's not powerful, but the mirage is extraordinarily powerful. Powerful, because you can create that mirage. And you've heard the age-old saying of the mirage in the desert that leads the person astray. They continue to walk thinking that they're finding the oasis, and they never do, and they ultimately dehydrate and ultimately don't make it in the desert. That's a powerful mirage. So we get to look at the Shadow Codex of what's happening this week, and this to me is a very, very powerful invitation, which leads us now, let's go find out what's going on over here in the Oracle realm. Whew, I can feel this one. How about you? Okay, here we go. Starbinder, Solera, and Shadowlight. Whew. Wow. Okay. Starbinder really bridges creativity with purposeful action, guiding others to transform dreams into reality. It reveals the true vision, thrives on innovation, and is anchored in structure, ensuring lasting impact and fulfillment. You can see right here, we have the steps. Our omnipotent seer part of us sees the path, knows it, understands all the data, understands the information, understands all of the intuition, the intuitiveness of it. It doesn't need to be any more than that. It's beautiful as you create it, seeker. It doesn't have to be any more of that. The mirage seeks to start to create and embellish and make it bigger than it necessarily needs to be, when the Starbinder is saying, hey, wait a minute, I already have this. I'm the bridge. I am the bridge part of you that creates the certainty with purposeful action. See, the seer sees the steps and lays it all out, has processed the information with the intuition you see about both in the light and of course the circle of light that she's staring at, and the people there that have brought all this information, your teammates, the other part of your personas, however you choose to see this, seeker, it's up to you. But the Starbinder part of you is going to create purposeful action. You see, both of them are focused down, but so is the mirage. If you see, they're all looking down towards the light. They're looking towards that light, where the mirage is trying to make it really flashy. The seer is just seeing it all, but she's not moving. The Starbinders, look at all the connections. She's bringing the stars in this connection. She, meaning, again, not gender, male or female. I'm just talking about the card. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female or however you identify. You all have a Starbinder, just like I do, just like everybody on the planet. That Starbinder is the bridge between seeing the steps. It doesn't need to be any more than what it is, because it's beautiful as it is, and you're going to bridge these together to connect the beautiful part of, I'm going to use these charms and I'm going to use these beautiful experiences, these alchemy to connect, not alchemy to distract. Ooh, I love Starbinder. Starbinder is one of my favorite in the oracles, which brings us to the Solara. Now, you undoubtedly know just by staring at that this is a very, very powerful card that is deeply rooted in heart center, or in the Heartset. As you know, you've heard that term here many times before. Here, Seeker, you're going to hear it again. But the Solara guides others to embrace and the steady brilliance, to just shine. Shine, baby, shine, right? Blending the inspiration with unwavering purpose reveals their influence comes from consistency, focus, and the ability to shine with lasting impact. Here we go. So look at the shine we've got going on here. You've got your Empyrean saying, this is the beautiful world. This is what it can be. I've just got to hold steady to it. And this is where our Havoc Bringer sometimes can create this limiting belief structure, because the Havoc Bringer, as you know, is going to thrive on chaos. Well, our action can continue to move forward, and we have this beautiful brilliance that we're blending inspiration with unwavering purpose. Well, Havoc Bringer, that purpose, the only purpose is to bring havoc and to bring chaos. That's where we get to blend these two. Let's use the Havoc Bringer as an example. See how this works for you, Seeker. Bringing in the Havoc Bringer to have a little bit of chaos so that we can stay and reveal the true part of us, the true influence that comes from consistency. We have the plan. We know how to connect. Now we got to stay consistent. We got to keep shining the light, the heart set within, so that the mind can actually align into those purposeful actions. It knows how to stay focused. It stays sharp, because if we don't have our heart set absolutely plugged in and feeling to what we have our idealism about, our Havoc Bringer is going to show up and create chaos. And that's going to make us feel like, well, it was all a mirage, and I'm going to have to somehow figure out how to get myself out of this, or have this other person who's trying to do the same thing to you, how you're going to get out of it, they're going to get out of it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But again, what's so great about the Solara? The Solara is always shining. She has the light behind her, and she has the light within shining through her. Through her is the key words here, Seeker. Where does the light shine from within you? Is it to your left, to your right? Is it behind you? Is it in front of you? Is it above you? Is it below you? Is it a 360 encompassment? Where does your light, your inner spirit, shine through the body, through the actual physical soma meaning body, so that the mind automatically aligns? And because the mind's already done the work over here with the Starbinder and the Seer, you've seen it, you've intuited it, you've intellected it, you understand it, you've looked at the light, now you're shining forward. Notice that both of them are shining forward. Even the Havoc Bringer has a little bit of light behind her. It's chaotic light, but it is light. So maybe we get the indication of having the light behind us and shining through us, which brings us, of course, to the shadow light. Now, as you know, the shadow light guides, right, others through the reconcile of the dualities, right? This is what makes it so unique, is we're blending these two together. We're blending light and the shadows to create harmony. Now, that doesn't sound just completely weird, doesn't it? Blending light and shadows to create harmony. Wow. Now, that is someone who has truly embraced the oracle part of themselves, because the light and the oracles, or excuse me, the light and the shadow codex, they have to work together, because it is a part of you. To say that that doesn't exist is just impossible. And where I found a lot of other traditional subconscious methods don't really help us identify these things and bring them all together, because these personas, these parts of us want to come out and work together. And that's what the shadow light really brings. And really, I believe that, in this week, I would offer in Seekers, if we look at the Starbinder and the shadow light, these two are really working together to say, hey, if we work together, the Solara part of us is going to show up. Our natural consistency, our natural focus is going to come, because we see the path, we're using and we're transforming through our shadow bender. We're blending all of our trauma, blending all of our triggers. We're aware of when we're triggering, and we're blending that into this beautiful thing that we call this creation through our Empyrean part of us. And we're creating a little havoc, but not havoc in a destructive way, havoc in a transformative way, moving into the shadow bender, having a little fun with it, being charming about it, but not over embellishing And oftentimes we can do that. I know I've done it. How about you? Comment below what you've done before if you're willing to share. Now, the shadow light part of us is going to reveal the true strength that comes from embracing complexity. Now, isn't that really interesting? Where are we talking about not having, we don't like the complexity? Oh, that's right, the same line. Isn't it ironic? How beautiful does that line up? Our veil binder really is going to thrive in complexity and struggle to build, right? Because they're doing the complexity of distraction. Again, look at the light, even though I'm up here. The shadow bender is saying, hey, wait a minute. We're going to embrace this complexity. We're going to make it work, but we're going to transform it, right, into transform the inner conflicts and wisdom and integration. We're going to transform this part of us that is actually manipulating outcomes for personal gain. And our shadow bender, man, this is a powerful lineup right here. Look at this. I mean, we're really talking about wanting to create the complexities for distraction and really taking that complexity and transforming it through this line, bringing our shadow codex in here through our shadow bender who says, yes, I do have my shadow. Yes, I do have that part of me, but I can transform it. I can bend it because I'm a transformative creature, because I can see where I can blend these two. I can see the path to do it. And if I stay consistent to my vision and dream, which may be disruptive and may have a little bit of chaos and it may look a little crazy, it's still lit to bring this part of me where my wisdom and my integration and all these inner conflicts that are going on. And who doesn't have inner conflicts? Believe me, we all do. That is exactly what the Mystic Persona helps us reveal. How are we interconflicted? What part of us is having the conflict? What part of us is done with conflict? What is part of us is done being a mirage, done just creating havoc, done just being everything so complex and dramatized and drama and trauma. I'm gonna bend and blend these together. I'm gonna bend this into something transformative and create this beautiful circle. You saw the 3 circles we originally talked about at the beginning of the reading. So as we get to look to this week, this is a beautiful invitation this week to look at how are we going to bend and bring our trauma, our triggers, our subconscious limiting beliefs, all of those things that we have and we have not brought into the full integration of self into this week, using our shadow light, using the vision of our star binder and our connectivity, the bridging between the shadow codex and the oracle realm, and being consistent to what our world is, the ideal world we want to live in, the ideal world, the way we want to feel, the way we want to look with ourselves, seeing the long-term vision and bending and blending all of these in together into one big, beautiful orchestration that I'm sure you undoubtedly know. There's several other personas that can help you do that. But for this week, this is a beautiful awareness that we get to create and blend through both the shadow codex and the oracle realm, while staying true to our core and actually creating the adventure of a lifetime. Now let's take control of your journey. Let's get you the Mystic Persona deck so you can start working with the cards today. Click the link below. I want to thank you for joining me, and let's embark on this transformative journey together. And I'll see you next week right here on the Mystic Personas.